welcome back to Frosty Acres. April's been a busy month. Let me show you what's been happening. Happy April 1st! You know what that means. Green grass, the trees are starting to bud. Things are coming to life again. But you live in Minnesota. April Fools! It's cold, it's windy. The good news is it's gonna be 50 degrees tomorrow. So we're back to frozen water buckets. And frozen gate latches. Sorry, my glove was in the way. See if I can get this thawed out. There we go. All right, time to feed the alpacas. How is everybody? What do you think of this? It's a bunch of BS, isn't it? Oh well, that's what happens when you live in Minnesota. Good morning, Vanilla Cappuccino. I'll be over to give you your breakfast in just a bit. Good morning, Hershey. The boys are crying at me. Yes, Hamilton, I hear ya. Got the girls fed, morning chores are done. I was hoping to spend some time working outside today, but the weather doesn't sound like it's gonna cooperate. Oh well, at least it's pretty, and we'll be gone tomorrow. So I've got something new that just arrived the other day. I got some chicks. Now technically these aren't mine. My cousin's stepdaughter really works at a farm store, and of course she's all in love with the chicks, and asked if she could have them, but they can't have them in town, so she's keeping them out here. I'm gonna get some chicks of my own in about another month. And these guys have been here for 3 days now. She says they're Easter eggers. She didn't know what specific breed, but they'll lay green eggs, green or blue eggs. The snow is all gone, isn't it, boys? Yes. And the annoying birds are back. I'm sure you can hear them. These, I believe, are called clackers. I'll try to get some better video of them. And now you get to see the boys. Hi, Charlie. Chris, I got you. A little more? Okay. That's a good boy. Hi there, Andy. Now Coffee's got his head buried in there. That's usually kind of fun. Alright, enjoy your breakfast, boys. Let's go see the ladies. Hopefully today I can get out and start cleaning. Things actually, even with the snow, seem fairly dry. Good. Anxious to get that all started and done. It takes me, last year it took me, I kept track, 16 hours to clean the girls' barn. So I figure I can do about 4 hours a day. It'll take me 4 days. And I can work on their pen, because this is where we generally do the shearing. Happy. Sorry, I'm wrestling with Vanilla Cappuccino here for control of the grain bucket. So up in the trees there, it's hard to see, but they are filled with all those noisy little birds. Fun times. They're just everywhere. in the field, the trees in my yard. All right, so let's go back inside and get some stuff done in there. I'll see you again later. Everybody loves the alpaca green. The chickie poos are free ranging now during the day. At least when I'm off, they're free ranging during the day. And they love joining the alpacas for feeding time. Oh, there goes those annoying birds again. Look at how many there are up in the trees. They're everywhere. So it's finally warm enough that I can start spring cleaning. Snow is pretty much melted, other than the big pile. So I'm starting here, this mound in front of the barn. Started raking up some of the hay last night. The cleaner hay is going to go in the chicken coop so they can use it for bedding. This out here I have to do layer by layer. And this first layer I just scraped up like I said last night. And as you can see underneath, there's ice. So that'll hopefully melt today, and then I can start working on the next layer. What I'm gonna do today is scoop up all these piles that I made last night, and maybe haul some hay out of the barn as well. But I'm gonna be out here for about 3-4 hours. So Jack and I have been working for about 2.5 hours. Right, Jackie? You been supervising? And I got the first layer off of this right in front. Now I've got to wait for that ice to melt. And I think it's break time. So I'm gonna call it, take a little break, and then I'll come out and do evening chores and maybe do a bit more cleaning. But not too bad. I'm guessing there's at least one more layer of hay that I'll have to peel back with another layer of ice underneath. But you never know. We'll find that out tomorrow. Phoebe, would you like me to put some water in your pool? Huh? When I was hooking up the water, she was rolling around in it. Let's grab the water here. Is that better? Drama going on. They're gonna fight over it. Hi, Mom. So I'm to the point, I'm over halfway done with the barn. And from here back, it's mostly hay. So this is the easy part. And hopefully I'll get this done today because it's supposed to rain all weekend. If it doesn't rain, I'm gonna start on the boys' barn tomorrow. If it does, I guess I'll have to wait till the rain stops. So I didn't quite get the girls' barn finished. I've just got this little corner here left. I worked on it this morning from 5:30, or not 5:30, a little after 6 to a little after 11, so about 5 hours. And I'm like, oh, I can get this part done. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, nope, I can't. I'm like, my back hurts, my head hurts, it's too dang hot. So I called it. I was gonna come finish it tonight, but I'm just sore. So if we don't get as much rain as predicted tomorrow, I'm gonna work on it then. If we do, I'm gonna finish it up on Monday and then start on the boys' barn. But not too bad considering where I started. I'm so close to being done. I also just woke up from a 2.5 hour long nap. I was pretty wiped out. It's all done. I hope to finish it over the weekend, but I was too sore. Whew. But I got up at 7 this morning. It took me a little over 2 hours. And now it's nice and clean. It looks like it's gonna be a nice day today. The alpacas are sure enjoying it. Now I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna work more on cleaning up the girls' pen or start working on the boys' barn. But yay, mission accomplished. This is the biggest chore in the spring. I like to get it done first because often we shear in here, especially if the weather's bad. Hopefully it'll be nice. Right now they're predicting rain, so I think we'll be shearing in here next week. So only, let's see, today is the 17th, only 9 days to go till shearing. Yay, another difficult job is done. There's the last wagon full of shit from the boys' barn, and it's all clean. Just a little leftover hay in there for some bedding since it's still so cold. It's such a good feeling. Been having so much anxiety lately, and I think this has been part of it because the weather's been so bad. Cold, snow, rain, that I haven't been able to get the work done as fast as I want, and it's done now. Just got to do a little more work in the girls' pen before Wednesday, and I'll be all ready for shearing. One of the most common questions I get from people is how much yarn do I get per animal per year? And that's something that really varies. I've got Phoebe and Monica here with me. Monica, can you come say hi? She's not being very social. But last year I had their yarn made. And Phoebe and Monica are exactly the same age. So I'm going to show you how much yarn I got from each of them. And I'll show you a picture too, just so you can see them side by side, see the difference in their sizes. Which one do you think produced the most amount of yarn? Alright, so as you can see, Monica's much bigger than Phoebe. They both look equally fluffy, but the size of the alpaca has very little to do with how much yarn you can get from per alpaca. And here's the picture of how much yarn I got last year. Yeah, Phoebe had way more. That was actually 2 years worth of fiber, but the amount of yarn varies depending on their two main factors, which influence 3 other factors. The 2 main factors are genetics and age, and both of those affect the micron count, which is how fine the fiber is, which Phoebe is very fine. They're actually both have very fine fiber. The density, which is how many hair follicles per, I think it's millimeter. And then, which Phoebe is dense. She is a fiber making machine. And then third is the staple length. And Phoebe's was probably about 1/2 inch to 1 inch longer than Monica's. Monica's is still pretty good though. And like I said, this is based on genetics, so Phoebe gets all her fiber machine qualities from her dad, Toffee. And they actually bred Monica, who doesn't want to be on camera, with Toffee last year, so hopefully she'll have a baby with really awesome fiber. And then as alpacas get older, the density goes down, the micron count goes up, which means the fiber is coarser, and the staple length goes down. So you can have a bag of fiber that's this big and weighs 3 pounds, and a bag of fiber smaller that weighs 5 pounds. And you still might get more fiber or more yarn from the 3-pound bag. So, hope that answers that question. So the alpacas were shorn a couple days ago, and I'm going to post some video and pictures from that. But before I do that, I wanted to address something that I deal with every time I post videos or pictures of shearing day. And it's how my animals, or how my alpacas are restrained for shearing. People always take issue with it. And I do, I take this personally. My life revolves around these guys. I wouldn't do anything to hurt them. Anything. And so when people imply that I'm torturing my animals, it pisses me off. So, yes, they are restrained for shearing. And before you get all worked up about that, ask yourself, have you ever put a child in a car seat? Why do you put them in a car seat? Have they ever thrown a temper tantrum because you put them in a car seat? Well, you put a child in a car seat to keep them from getting hurt. That's the #1 reason. And, you know, like toddlers, these guys, some of them doesn't faze them a bit. Others throw a temper tantrum. But it's done for their safety. And yeah, it may be uncomfortable, but I'd rather have them be uncomfortable for about 15-20 minutes of their year than end up getting hurt. And these shears, they are sharp, and they are fast, and they are hot. They could get seriously injured if they weren't restrained. I could end up with a laceration or burns even that take months to heal. So that is why they are restrained. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about it, but don't you dare criticize me for the way I do things with my animals. You can keep those comments to yourself. And even though it's only about 50 degrees here, they're all very happy. I wish I'd had my phone with me this morning when I did chores. Vanilla Cappuccino, who is my oldest alpaca, she's 16 years old, she was prancing back and forth from the corner of their fence to the barn and back, and then she'd stop at the gate and she'd run back, and she's so happy. They feel so much lighter. Even when it's 50 degrees with that full coat, they're hot. The day of shearing, I was filling up their water buckets at noon, and they were lining up for me to hose them down. And I didn't want to hose them down because I don't want their fiber to be wet when we shear them, because then, you know, with it being bagged up, it could get mildewy. So also, while they're restrained for shearing, they get their teeth trimmed. Alpaca's teeth continually grow throughout their lifetime. The vegetation where they're from is quite a bit coarser than what they eat here. And they don't have soft grass and hay, it's very coarse vegetation. So that would grind their teeth down natural, and it doesn't do that here. I have a few that like to chew on the fences and stuff like that, or chew on sticks, and that helps grind it down. But some of them need their teeth trimmed. Some every year, some every few years. It varies from animal to animal, and part of that is their genetics. Another thing I do that it's done while they're restrained is to have their toenails trimmed. So getting their teeth trimmed, their toenails trimmed, getting sheared, those are all for their well-being. That is why we do this. And they are restrained for their well-being. And yeah, someone's probably going to say, well, I saw someone shearing their alpacas standing up. Mine wouldn't do that. Mine are used to me. And if someone came at them with those loud shears, they would jump.
Do you want halters back on the boys, or just get them back over there?
If you can get them back over there without them, go for it.
Should be okay, huh? This one? It's a little bit meaty for that. We'll see. Here's the blanket bag to the wet one. Yep. Is he also getting sections? Yeah. I think the second one too. Then which one's the fly spray one?
One of the boys.
Okay.
He's be able to tell because his ears are all scarred up. And I'll mention it too.
Like fighting scarred or dry skin?
The flies have just been going after his ears the last couple of years. No matter what I do. He's the one on the far right there.
Okay. Floater?
Yeah.
Little guy?
No, I'll say it for a bit. So, a few of my thoughts on how shearing went this year. In 2019, I got a new shearer. The main reason was because the shearer I had previously didn't trim their teeth. And my vet and I had tried to trim their teeth ourselves, and it just didn't work. It really needed to be done when they were strained, and now I don't even have a vet. So I talked to another local alpaca breeder. They live maybe 30 miles from here, and they told me about this other guy. Like, yeah, he does teeth, whatever. They did warn me he could be a bit gruff. That's how they described it. And I'm like, I can handle that. So the first year, 2019, that went pretty well. We had a big crowd, lots of help. Everything went pretty smooth. And, you know, he was bossy. 2020, I only had a couple friends that were able to help in 2020 and 2021, and he didn't treat them very well. He was just barking orders the whole time. And I get they have things that they have to do. They have a certain way of doing it. They do this every day. And so I just try to be accommodating. Well, last year he's like, okay, we're gonna do shearing at 7:30 on 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. I said, that is fine, but I will have no help. All of my people work. There's no way they're gonna take a morning off to come help me shear. It just doesn't work. It's easier to leave a little early in the afternoon for them. I was very, very clear on that. So he gets there and he's like, don't you have anybody helping? I'm like, I told you, I wouldn't have any help. My people couldn't take the morning off to come help with this. And from that point on, he was really mad, and he literally yelled at me the whole time. It got to the point where I almost asked him to leave. But I'm like, it's the end of April, there's no way I'm gonna find another shearer. I just need to push through, get this done, and figure out what to do for the next year. So this year I emailed my old shearer. I'm like, any chance you do teeth now? It just isn't working out with this shearer. And he goes, well, I don't come up to Minnesota anymore. He's from Oklahoma. He goes, here's my brother's email. Give him, shoot him an email and he could probably help you out. So I did that, and they got a hold of me, and this is quite the operation. Oh my gosh, I was so impressed. So they have several teams that go all over the country right now, shearing alpacas. They have 3-man teams, and I didn't have to do hardly anything. It was amazing. It cost more, but in my opinion, it was worth every penny. I had gone and I had haltered up Andy's. I started with him first because I figured he'd be the most difficult of my males. But okay, so let's start from the beginning. They get here, they're introduce themselves, really friendly, and we start trying to figure out where we're going to do it. I'm like, oh, well, there's electricity here, and it was like, is this flat enough? I've got this nice and clean for you. And he goes, this is perfect, no problem. So they start setting up, and once they're ready, I'm like, okay, I'll go get the first one. And I got the first one, and they got him restrained, and I asked and the guy goes, okay, I got this, Jess. And he goes, do you want me to use halters? I'm like, if you can get him over here without a halter, by all means, that's fine. It's not that far. And they did such a good job handling the animals. Well, hi, Ivy. They actually had a rapport with them. They know the animals are a little upset about all this. It's a little frightening for them, and they were comforting them and talking to them during the process. And they trimmed the nails, they cut the teeth, they bagged up the fiber even. All I had to do was label the bags and tell them what all I wanted to keep. And I had bags for the first fiber, or the blanket, which is from their shoulders to their butt. That's the prime fleece. And then the seconds are their neck. And I only kept the seconds on some of them, mainly the younger ones. And then the thirds, which are their legs and the belly, the under part of their belly. It's not very good fiber. It tends to be very short. And I used to keep everything. Now I don't. And I had like construction bags for those, and like put that in here. And then when it's done, I just dump it on the manure pile and it all composts down. So they did that. I just handed him the bags and he scooped up the fiber and he goes, here you go. It took about 2 hours. Afterwards, they cleaned everything up. They do really good cleaning. You're so friendly this morning. After shearing, between jobs, they clean all their mats with bleach, make sure everything's disinfected. Hi, sweetheart. And just to make sure that they're not spreading any germs from farm to farm. I think they even cleaned their shoes. And they got here, they'd already been to 2 other farms, and I don't know if they changed clothes between jobs or what, but their uniform, and they have kind of a uniform, was perfectly clean as well. So really nice crew. You know what they say, you get what you're paid for, and this cost me more money, but 100% I would do it again. Normally after shearing day I'm sore. You're so silly, but maybe they want to see your face instead of mine anyway. But it was a great day, the most fun shearing I had. I had time to take pictures. I should have taken video. I don't know why I didn't. Some of my neighbors came by and I had time to talk to them and tell them about what was going on. They had lots of questions about what I do with the fiber, about the different colors, and they had all kinds of questions. And I actually had the time to talk to my visitors and answer these questions, which was wonderful. So hopefully next year some of you might be able to come out too and experience it. One more thing. So you probably noticed there's no craft section this time, mainly because I've been working on a few things, not a lot to talk about though. That way I'm only going to be doing the craft portion every other month, probably till fall. So that will be in the May video. Now for real, goodbye. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.